So some people might be surprised that a Museum of Archaeology and Anthropology is exhibiting modern and contemporary art. And there's a few reasons why I think it's really important that MAA is doing this. One relates to our audiences in this country. Younger people especially find modern and contemporary art more accessible, easier to interpret, easier to find a way into than many historic collections, especially historic collections from remote places and times. So part of this is to create a context where people can perhaps develop a perspective on some of what's upstairs and elsewhere in the museum. The second reason is quite a simple one. Some people may go into the gallery upstairs and encounter totem poles and canoes and masks and think that all of these things are part of a sort of great culture of the past that's dead and no longer exists. Many of these works are made by communities, Inuit, Aboriginal Australians, people from Southern Africa, who are represented in those collections upstairs. And this exhibition demonstrates that these cultures have modern and contemporary lives. They've negotiated with issues of empire and globalization and all of the other challenges of the present. There are big discontinuities, but also continuities between the cultures that we have evidence for of various kinds upstairs and what we witness down here. And a third reason is, in a sense, that making a collection like this, the process of visiting artists, visiting communities, visiting print studios where these kinds of works were made, was also a process of making relationships, meeting people, gathering information, understanding what was going on in the present. And one of the things that's going to be exciting about the remainder of the calendar year is that at various times we have artists coming to the museum who are represented in this exhibition or are part of the same scene. So that the process of building the collection has given us the opportunity to meet artists, develop those kinds of relationships, understand where people are at in the present, and give them pretexts to come here and meet our visitors as well. And then there's another rationale for the making of this kind of collection, and that is that we can go to all sorts of great museums of modern art in Britain or anywhere else in Europe, and we'd have little sense really that modern art had lives beyond Europe and North America. In recent years it's been very fashionable to talk about contemporary art as a global phenomenon, and the emergence of artists from all over the world in events like biennales and in exhibitions at Tate Modern and those sorts of institutions. But in fact, the artists who tend to get represented in those contexts are very often migrant artists, people who may originally be from Africa or of African or Asian or Latin American descent, but who now live in Europe or in New York or somewhere else. They're part of a sort of diasporic art world, a migrant art world. And what still tends to get left out are the arts of indigenous communities and local groups in a whole range of parts of the world. And this exhibition is a sort of small attempt to kind of fill that kind of gap, to show that not only are there great historic art traditions in Aboriginal Australia, the Pacific, various parts of Asia, various parts of Africa, but modern art has also had lives in those parts of the world, and not just very recent lives, but actually quite a history. And so the title of the show is The Power of Paper,